Hey everybody, this is Max Pulcini with EverWash, and today I am joined by Tim Terrizzi from Pit Stop Car Wash, right here in our backyard in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Tim, how you doing today?
Good. Yourself?
Doing great. Can't complain, man. Can't complain. And I want to thank you for being the first EverWash wash partner to join me on a new series that we're doing here called How I Got to 1,000 Members. So what we're going to do here is sit down with one of our wash partners and interview them about, kind of some tips and tricks, some best practices, some storytelling on how they got to 1,000 members. This way we can share some of these best practices with our other wash partners, with other car wash operators out there in the country, and really get some of these best practices out there. So, Tim, you're our first contestant, so to speak. But let's start with a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and about Pit Stop Car Wash.
So I'm a third generation operator at Pit Stop. My grandfather founded the place in 1970. Been
Very
doing
cool.
it for 52 years. So I grew up in the business, admiring my dad, my grandfather. Was there a lot growing up, even before I worked there. And then from the time I was about 14 till now, I worked there in some capacity all the way through school until I eventually decided it was what I wanted to do with my life. And I'm there every day now, taking over the reins. And we're a full service car wash. We're a little old school. We still carry a lot of labor, but the membership model works well for us too. So
Yeah. So, tell us about that. How long have you been doing membership at your car wash? How long have you been working with EverWash to deliver that membership plan? Tell us a little bit about that background.
we've been doing membership since about when you guys began. We were one of your first partners.
Right
So
on.
it's been about 6 years. However, it wasn't until about 2 years ago that we really started to take it on as one of the main things in our business. And that was about when I came into the business, in the capacity that I am now, that I kind of saw it as being, what we should put all of our attention and focus into.
Amazing. Yeah, that's great. And that's a perfect transition to get to kind of like the meat and potatoes of this discussion. And that's really allowing you to share some of the best practices that you've discovered. So you kind of had 3-4 years where you guys had membership as an offering, but you really weren't working it. And then 2 years ago, you really kind of switched gears and turned that around. If you can share with our audience out there, what were maybe, the top things that you learned that really made that light bulb go off? That was like, oh shoot, there is a lot we can do with this membership thing. And then after turning those measures on, what is the success that you've seen?
So to be clear, we weren't necessarily floundering, but we weren't committed to membership. It was kind of
Right.
like an ancillary thing. It was something that we offered, but we didn't push it.
Right.
I think that I could give you three things, but I'd sum them all up under one umbrella, and it's belief, I
Right.
think. So you see the numbers. There's a calculator on the EverWatch website takes your car count and everything, and it tells you how many members you could achieve and what it'll do for your business.
Mhm.
And that all makes sense. But sometimes we get started and we don't really know how to sell memberships. And we're like, maybe why my wash doesn't sell memberships. Maybe we can't do it here. Maybe I'm a full service, so it would be too pricey, and the model doesn't work for me. And that's all, you know, going to be your belief system until you really put your best foot forward and you start pitching to every customer.
Right.
And if you do that, you'll find that there are certain ways to sell the membership that just work. And if you use them consistently, it's just probability that you're going to start hitting.
Yeah.
And once you start hitting, it's like the law of attraction. If some people believe that's happy horse crap, but you could kind of see it at play when you sell memberships. Once you start to hit, it just keeps coming, keeps coming, keeps coming.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. Well, so belief, that's an amazing way to kind of sum it up. But you mentioned, kind of an approach to selling. Do you have any best practices on what that right approach to selling is? What was kind of the difference that made it seem like it wasn't this stale thing? What made selling membership fresh for you and your staff?
so the best sale, somebody told me, is the one the person didn't see coming.
Right.
So No, the moment I feel like I'm being sold something, I'm like, and I think everybody else, it's why we love the comedian Sebastian Maniscalco so much. You just run the other direction, you don't feel like
Absolutely.
listening to it. But really, I look at it as less that you're selling something, you're giving something to somebody.
Mhm.
They're already washing their car. You're showing them how to do it in a more cost-effective manner. So in order to get to the point where you can tell someone that you want to, give them something, you have to show that they're a person first. You have to say, "Hey, how are you?" You have to present that it's about the person.
Of
And
course.
then once you have that, quick, quick meet and greet, then you could say, "Hey, listen, do you know about our membership program? Well, look, you're paying this today, and I'll tell you what, I'll make it even better. If you sign up with me today, give you half off your first month." And the reason I say with me today is you're creating a sense of urgency. It's today and it's with me. Tomorrow it might be done. Tomorrow I might not be here. So you're giving them a sense of, oh, this guy's doing me a solid. I better hop on it quick. And the best part is I don't have to keep it. I always make sure that I express to the customer that there's no commitment.
Right.
So a lot of operators might be afraid of using that because they're like, oh, I'm going to get gypped. Again, probability. If you sell 1 million memberships, you're guaranteed that some of those are going to hang on. And even if you get 1% of 1 million, your car wash is going to make a whole lot of money.
Well, 1% of
So,
a million is pretty darn good.
yeah.
That's awesome. How has your staff kind of responded to the way that you're kind of presenting the sale? Have you seen, the people that work under you and for you also take to this renewed belief in membership and I guess themselves and the sale?
Yeah. So Frank Brigidi once said that the biggest mistake people make is they look at the guy who comes in every day of the month as an asshole. And they're not. That person is actually your best customer because everyone uses a cell phone today.
Right.
And almost a guarantee that at least every other day, somebody else in that cell phone knows where that customer is
Right.
and they're at your car wash. So you want to make sure that you're embracing that customer because they're going to be your best advertiser. They're going to help you bring in a bunch of other business. So what I would say is that I've kind of instilled in my crew to appreciate those customers. Now, if you tell them what they do for business, that's very indirect. But if you make them get to know that customer,
Mhm.
then they converse with that customer every day. They become happy to see that customer. So you have to work different ways to make them appreciate the customer.
Mhm.
But what I found is though that consistent business can be good for your crew's morale because that's someone they know coming to see them every day.
That's a great point that I never even considered, how just seeing the same faces and being thanked by the same people, feeling appreciated by members is a great way to, make them just feel better about their job in general. Make them feel better about where they work and coming in every day, putting a smile on their face. And it's great to see that that kind of trickles down right to every facet of your operation there.
Yeah.
So let's talk some results. You're doing very well, obviously, with your membership program, with your business in general. You've been able to do some upgrades, renovations at the wash. So that's really exciting. How has membership paid its dividends for your wash? How has it really changed your operation and your lives?
So just talking on my level, because I don't handle the books or I don't get to see all the numbers per se. But as a manager, that consistent flow of business has made my life way easier.
Yeah.
It gives the employees purpose because even your slowest day, you're going to have some traffic.
Right.
It's when you create a culture of membership, it's not just a culture that the customer feeds off of, it's a culture that your employees get to feed off of if you're doing it correctly. So that steady traffic is not going to only increase your incentive to stay open on days where the weather isn't as cooperative.
Right.
Especially and that's especially handy for someone like me that's a full service operator. There's a lot of days before membership where just it wouldn't make sense financially to stay open if there's some drizzle through the first half of the day.
Right.
People don't come in, but we're pretty much promised to still see customers, and we're promised steady revenue. So it's reason to stay open, and that helps you as a manager because your men have a legitimate job that are coming, they come in every day too, and
Right.
it gives them purpose. It's easier to hold them accountable to set schedules because you're open almost every day now. Whereas before, I can't speak for everybody, but that wasn't my reality or a lot of other full service wash owners' reality.
It's interesting how transformative something like this can be for a business that has operated the same way for such a long time, or an industry that's operated the same way for such a long time. This can be a real game changer for not just the way, the customers are using your business, but the way you're approaching the business. So tell me this, Tim, what's something that you wouldn't have been able to do at your wash had it not been for membership?
Our accessory numbers are much greater than they've ever been.
Mhm.
We offer a discount to members for buying stuff in our store.
Mm-hmm.
And because they see discount, I mean, your prices are, you set your prices. But when you say discount, people are inclined to buy. So we have a steady traffic of people that we can now sell not only accessories, but extra services, detailing. So these are kind of the possibilities that membership presents that we are yet to take full advantage of and tap into. But if I can mention one thing that membership brings that I haven't already, that would be it.
Yeah, that's a great point. It can bring additional revenue to your other profit centers, right? Just by dealing with the increased volume, the increased foot traffic, you're leading people to your other services, your other products, detailing stuff in the store, whatnot. And that equals more credit card business, more cash business, which everyone likes. So I think you mentioned a lot. Was there, in closing, was there any other little best practices or tips and tricks that you wanted to add before we sign off here?
One thing I've left out of that sales pitch.
Yeah.
Take advantage of those beautiful rack cards that EverWash gives you.
Nice.
Because to me, the pitch, like I said, it's gradual. I always say, and you want to get more and more positive as it goes along. You get the customer more and more invested before they've spent any money. So you have your hello, how are you? And then when you go to break down how you're going to save them money, you bring them to that card. So now you're making sure that if they don't hear it, they're seeing it.
Right.
And I always point to the number that they're paying as it is. I say, without a membership, no one likes to be told that they're doing something wrong because it makes them feel like they want to stop listening to you. But if you can subtly tell them that they're screwing up, they won't feel as offended. So you say, this is what you're paying without a membership.
Right.
If you paid less than the price of two of them a month, you come in and get that wash as much as you want. Freeze or cancel anytime. But again, you get their eye contact with you. You get your eye contact with the card. They're becoming more and more drawn into what you're saying. So use that card.
Yeah, it's a nice, some people are visual learners, right? They need to see it to understand it. Tim, thank you again for joining me on this call today. Our first in a series of videos covering how you got to over 1,000 members. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, Max.
See ya.
Thank you.